I don't care if this is the official season 1 finale episode. I don't care. This is not for me the ending. The writer has Sylvia and Yonder stumbling upon someone from Sylvia's past, her former writer, who's called Ryder, and I mean it, like Ryder the writer. And he basically comes back to ask Sylvia for a favor, for a help with a new job that he has to disrupt the Lord Hater, kind of like what happened during the episode The Big Job. But in this one, it's a little bit different, since it's like an old buddy of Sylvia's who's asking, hey, let's go off for another adventure, you and me. And Sylvia is so caught up with this, like, yes, let's all have an adventure, whatever. And Wander keeps on popping up and trying to help out, kind of like in The Big Job. But in this one, it's a little bit different, since, like I mentioned like 1,000 times, this is someone from Sylvia's past, one of her old friends, the one that got her into adventure, excitement, danger. And of course, she starts to push Wander away, not so deliberately, but you can see it, like, Wander, you can calm down, come on, you're making me look bad, or something like that. Not as much as in The Big Job, but sort of. And you kind of look, when you see this episode, you kind of feel that when you see Wander doing his best to help Sylvia out by, well, basically doing whatever he can, similar to The Big Job. But after seeing what happened in The Big Job, having Sylvia not be able to join these guys, and having Ryder here in the present, Wander does his best to this time actually have Sylvia win, have her feel that excitement again, and almost being pushed away. And you also see it in his face that, hey, I messed it up for her before, this time I'm gonna have her get her way. Because so many times Sylvia has helped Wander with whatever he wanted, and it feels, you can see it in his face, you kind of get that feeling that he's trying to help her this time without feeling a little bit selfish. Sorry, I need that. And of course, at the end, this episode basically takes part of the lesson in Griffin the Brush-Off during the first season of My Little Pony, in which you have to see who your real friends are, and you will see that your false friends aren't worth it. And with that moral, you kind of know what's gonna happen in this episode. Ryder's a jerk. He tries to put all the blame on Sylvia, and Wander's the only one who's trying to help. This time he is deliberately doing whatever he can, and he shows that he is the true friend. Sylvia did have a lot of adventure and danger with Ryder, but she never felt that sense of responsibility and also that sense of wanting to help people until she met Wander. This, just like with the Helper, brings up a lot of questions about Sylvia's past. A lot of people, especially in the Wander over Yonder fandom, have theorized that she might have been a former criminal before she met Wander, and that's why she's going with him to just make up for her mistakes. But that's a really, really good theory, and with this episode you kind of get that sense. But of course you really can't go that much because it's Disney, but at the same time they kind of let some of the creators get away with what they do, like in Gravity Falls. But let's see what happens. Craig McCracken did mention in the Comic-Con panel that we might get to see a glimpse of her past, of Sylvia's past, with her brothers. And yes, I'm not spoiling anything if you've seen the trailer of the second season. What I really want to know is Wander's past, and of course Sylvia's. With this episode you get a hint of it, and you also want to know how they met, Wander and Sylvia. You really want to know how they met and how Wander helped change Sylvia's perspective on life. She could have been your typical criminal and adventure seeker with Ryder, but she somehow chose to go with this happy-go-lucky guy, which is Yonder, who seeks to spread joy throughout the galaxy, and that's really awesome. From this jerk to this amazing person who would end up being her best friend, who would always be there for her, and that's really amazing. And yes, that's the moral. You know who your real friends are, and boot off whoever you think is hurting you. Now we're going to the finale, the real one.